Hi, this is Manos Brilakis from the Minneapolis Heart Institute and the Cardiovascular Innovations Foundation, presenting video 8.2 for the Manual of Percutaneous Coronary Interventions. This video discusses some general principles regarding guide wire manipulation. Wiring is the 8th of the 14 steps of percutaneous coronary intervention and can be achieved in 10 steps that are discussed in detail in video 8.1. What we do in this specific video is discuss some core principles that apply to steps 6, 7, and 8, that is advancing the wire to the lesion, crossing the lesion, and advancing the guide wire further distally. And these are the 10 principles that will be discussed one by one. The first one is to select the optimal view for wiring. It makes sense. In order to get someone, it is best to actually see where you are going. And the optimal view depends on the target vessel. For example, for the circumflex and obtuse marginal, caudal views, both the areocaudal as well as the elaeocaudal, are preferred. When it comes to the LAD, for the proximal portion, an AP view or an areocaudal or the spider work pretty well. However, for the mid to distal segment, AP cranial seems to work the best. When it comes to the right coronary artery, for wiring through the proximal, mid, and distal segment, the LAO view works great. But when it comes to navigating to the PDA or the posterolateral, adding cranial angulation in an elaeocranial or apicranial view provides the best chance for advancing the wire through those branches. The second key principle is to use a torquer, at least when wiring is challenging. One can advance wires in most cases just using the fingers. However, when wiring is challenging, using a torquer provides better control of the guide wire. Having said that, there are some exceptions. For example, when trying to cross through collaterals, one may want to not use a torquer, especially septal collaterals in the surfing technique, so as to spin the wire between the fingers and also make bigger movements than would be allowed had a torquer been attached to the wire. The third key concept is about the balance between pushing and turning, and this is something that is gained through experience. In general, one wants to turn more and push less to be able to deliver the wire without damaging the wire or causing vessel injury. How to hold the wire? This is the way I prefer, which is an underhand. So the wire essentially is above the hand, and I think that provides me the best way to manipulate the wire easier. But again, different operators have different preferences, and for some operators, overhand grip may be preferable. The next one, number 5, is to keep the tip free. This minimizes the risk of vessel injury. The next one is to use a reference image when wiring and inject when needed to make sure that the wire is going in the right place, and especially using orthogonal views because a single projection can sometimes be misleading. This is an example of a CTO intervention. The wire is subintimal, tracking the right coronary artery. We advanced the Stingray balloon for re-entry. Had we not done this image, we would actually have tried to re-enter into a branch. Essentially, this is an early branch, not where we actually wanted to get the re-entry. So having orthogonal projections, more views allows us to actually redirect the wire in the right place and then successfully recanalize the CTO. So orthogonal projections are key, not only for CTO intervention, but for any complex intervention to ensure that the wire is actually going to the place we intended to go. The next one is slightly controversial. However, I believe that looping the tip is okay for most wires. This is an example of a patient who came with ST segment elevation myocardial infarction. Wiring was fairly challenging, but then advancing a Sion Blue, which is a workhorse wire, and putting a loop at the tip allowed the wire to actually go through the area of occlusion and then successfully recanalize the vessel. Sometimes actually having a loop may be advantageous. This is an example where the wire keeps on going into the branch of the obtuse marginal until eventually the tip knuckles, and when the tip knuckles allows advancement of the wire past the origin of that little branch and then delivery into the distal portion of the obtuse marginal branch. So knuckle can help prevent entry of the wire into small branches. This is another example. Wiring through a preview stand actually is ideally done using a looped or knuckled wire. The reason being that otherwise the wire might go under the stand struts, which may make it very difficult for subsequently delivering equipment and expanding the stand. So this is an example that we're trying to get a looped wire through an under-expanded stand. That was unsuccessful, but then by using more support and having a guide catheter extension and a microcatheter, we were able to advance a looped wire through the stand that eventually led to successful treatment of this lesion. So looped wires can be used in many cases, and in some cases they are the preferred ones, such as in cases with branches or wiring through previously placed stents. The next concept is to change the wire if the tip becomes damaged. The wire is much less torqueable, and then it just creates more risk and more difficulty advancing the wire. The next key concept is something from CTO PCI, but applies to standard PCI as well, which is the concept of escalating and de-escalating. This means that if we use a specialty wire, for example, a polymer jacketed wire to advance to an area of tortuosity, then before delivering stents, we want to change to a less traumatic workhorse guide wire. So the Sion Black or the Fielder FC should be replaced with a workhorse guide wire before stents are placed. And then finally, you want to keep the wires organized if more than one wires are being used. This can be done usually using towels, but also by trying different color guide wires, putting a torquer, or bending the back end of a guide wire. This is an example of having two wires, having a towel in between them allows separation of the two, and typically we place the wire that is on the top. The wire that actually on the screen is on the top as well, so there is less confusion. The same thing applies to when we have three wires. This is an example of a left main trifurcation. We have three wires, and then we have two towels. The wire on the very top is the wire into the LAD. The wire in the middle is the wire that's in the ramus, and then the wire at the bottom is the wire into the circumflex. So having these two towels allows nice separation of the wires and minimizes confusion. This is also important when multiple wires are used. This is an example from a CTO case in which having clear marking of which wire is which can help identify those wires if they are needed again during the case. So in summary, these are 10 core principles applying to advancing a guide wire to the lesion, through the lesion, and distal to the lesion that I hope we can find helpful for your PCIs. Thank you.